Welcome to the show, guys. Welcome back to Cause for Concern. It's so great to be back. Lights have been on for almost a year and a half, maybe more. As you can see, it's just me today. Steve Haggerty is not here, but we'll get into that. We'll talk a little bit about the direction of the show and what's going on. So, welcome back. Again, we sit here. It is a fraught political year, and we thought we'd go a little different direction for the first show. Um, there is plenty of time for cynicism, for anger, for indecision, for political dialogue and diatribe that is coming. Trust me, it is coming. It is coming for the next year, hard, fast, and angry. We will be on the air weekly, as a matter of fact. But I digress, as I usually do. This show, um, contrary to politics, contrary to the media, contrary to maybe past shows, today is about compassion. It's about compassion. It's about love. It's about family members. It's about friends. It's about people out there that we all know and love. And, you know, it is about the big C word, cancer, and what it takes for people to be survivors and what it takes to support people as survivors. Um, I'm not alone on the show today. I'm going to be bringing on some guests. My girlfriend Laura will be on shortly. And my childhood great friend Richard Bay will be on the show as well. Both cancer survivors, both people who have struggled immensely and are still struggling with cancer, with the repercussions of cancer, and things that maybe the audience and people just experiencing this sort of thing for the first time they don't understand. They don't understand, and nor is the information out there. We talk a lot about cancer. I think it's society necessarily. Everybody watching the show either has been touched by, you know, family members that have had cancer, or will be touched. I hate to say this by cancer. Both my parents died from cancer. I could probably rack my brain and think of more people, and I'm sure you all could too. Cancer is a number two killer of people in the United States, behind only heart failure, heart attacks, that sort of thing. And it is important, I think, to state at the outset that cancer comes in many forms. Um, that's what makes it's so broad, is the fact that there are so many different types of cancer, and so people suffer in different ways. The most common cancers um, are breast cancer, lung cancer, bronchial cancer, prostate cancer, colon cancer, rectum cancer, melanoma of the skin, bladder cancer, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, kidney, renal, pelvis cancer, endometrial cancer, leukemia, pancreatic, thyroid, and liver cancer. That's a broad list, and there are many, many others too. Brain cancer included, but they're all serious, and they all take a lot of work, a lot of treatment, and they're this, as I said in the beginning, is about compassion. It's about understanding. It's about getting away from the petty arguments of politics per se. And I thought it was a great way to start this season out, maybe on a little more of a positive note, and maybe display, God forbid, a little humanity, a little love for people around us, and support each other. We all know, as this show is just getting back on the air, what we have talked about so far previously in the year we were on is really about politics and how we treat each other as enemies. So this is a stark contrast to that, and I think we wanted to start out this way. So after the break, we're gonna talk about some statistics and data, what cancer is, how it affects people, and the tough time I think loved ones, family members, friends don't understand how to support people, and support people that have cancer, and hopefully we can dig into this a little more from two people who have survived or are surviving cancer right now, and talk about what they need, what people with cancer need from us, and how we can help support the broader community getting the message out. Some of this may be, surprising, some may not, but we're going to talk about it, and hopefully we're able to break some ground, and to make life easier and more productive, and maybe a little more caring for people out there. So we'll see you after the break. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning back in, and it is great to be back. Thank you so much. Good morning, guys, and welcome back to Cause for Concern. Welcome back, guys. I am so excited to get this interview out there. And as I said during the intro, I've got two special guests on. First one being my girlfriend Laura, lifesaver, best friend, somebody that's kept me alive all these years, and it's going to be great to hear her story for you guys. The other person on the screen here is Richard Bay. Richard is one of my oldest friends going back to elementary school, when we were little kids back in Long Island. And he is battling cancer right now as we speak. And his story is going to be powerful, and hopefully a lot of people out there that watch this maybe can relate, they're going through it, or take something out of this on what it's like to battle cancer, and to and to have this dreadful disease. So I wanted to jump right into it, Rich. We're going to start with you because you are the person that's going through this. You're halfway through, I think, generally speaking, and maybe take a step back and talk about what it was like that first time you heard you had cancer, and what the experience was like for the audience out there.
Um, well, I went and had my colonoscopy. I knew something was wrong. Your body lets you know when something's not right. So I went and had the colonoscopy, and I came out of the anesthesia, and my doctor was literally standing right there and looked at me and said, "I have bad news for you." And my heart just dropped. I thought right away, my first thought was, "Oh my God, I'm going to die." Uh, he's like, "You have cancer with a 10 millimeter tumor, which is what they call a mass tumor." Uh, and that's kind of where it started. It was very overwhelming, and I had to start to do my chemo from there and all my treatments. And chemo is no fun. You get very sick. It's brutal. I don't think unless you really go through it, you can fully understand the impact that it has on your body. It doesn't just kill the cancer; it kills everything good and bad in your body. I lost 50 pounds over the whole ordeal. I was down to 126 pounds, which is not healthy. Um, and that's basically how it started. So,
I know you said you'd come out of anesthesia, and that must be an absolute, going on what you said, that must be an absolute shock, to just go, oh my God, you're just coming out of anesthesia, you're barely even coherent, and they're telling you
I
this.
wasn't even coherent. But yeah, it's overwhelming.
And I know you said something important that it's sort of that moment, where everything changes. I guess your life is pretty. I bet to say that life is pretty fluid for most people, and they go through their same day in and day out routine, expecting that things are going to be the same, and then one day everything changes. And I
Yes.
guess just real briefly, was there a huge emotional toll and this shock, and again, not to harp on this, but I think that for the audience, like, that moment has got to be just hugely impactful, and just like, oh my God, what is going on here? Surreal, I guess,
Well,
is the word.
your life changes instantly as soon as you hear that information. Um, and you and I have spoke privately on the phone, and as I told you before, this was I was one of those people that this wasn't going to happen to. This can't happen to me. And cancer doesn't care. It doesn't care what color you are, what nationality you are, if you're male or female. It does not fucking care, and it does not give you breaks. It's full on. It's brutal. Your life changes instantly. and it puts a lot of things into perspective. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. It sounds awful, and it sounds shocking. And I think most people would say this is probably one of the worst things they would go through in their life. Laura, would you agree?
Yes.
I mean, I know I've seen you struggle with this, and maybe what sounds familiar to you as well.
Well, like Rich was saying, it definitely changes pretty much every aspect of your life. It's not just physically, it's mentally and
Yeah.
just how you're going to get through every day and still maintain, you know, taking care of your family, taking care of the dogs. At that point, my parents were both unhealthy and, just trying to run a business and all of it. And in the back of my head going, I know I'm not going to be able to do this long term. And not being able to function mentally because like Rich said, it doesn't only poison the cancer, it poisons every part of you. So part of that
Right.
comes with, your mental acuity, you lose a lot of that. And just your mental and physical fortitude. It just tests everything.
Yeah, I'd like to touch on this real quick, Laura, because you brought it up. I'm obviously wearing a shirt that says "Don't weaken." Um, Being strong, being tough, physically tough has nothing really to do with this. I've always thought of myself as strong, and I've watched Laura struggle with this, and the amount of strength that it takes or has taken for her to battle through this, with all the ups and downs, is so amazing to me to see the resilience. So, individuals, and we'll get into how many survivors there are, but I urge people to talk to survivors of cancer to really understand what kind of strength and fortitude it takes to battle this. And I think what you'll find is some very special people, as we have two of them right here in front of us, that
And you know,
that
and as
fight this.
Laura said, it's not just it. It affects you in every way, from physically to mentally, the depression that comes with it. The stress of how am I going to deal with this? How am I going to take care of this and this and this?
Sure.
I mean, I lost my business. I lost everything that I had, because of this.
Yeah, and
And
sorry, go ahead.
no, that's good. I was about done.
No, 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 no. What you're saying was usually important because it's one of the commonalities between you and Laura is you both own businesses,
Right.
and the structure, the structure to support people with cancer. I don't believe, from what I've heard from both of you, and correct me if I'm wrong, is not there to help people
It is
with
not.
cancer. You are sort of on your own island. And we're not talking, again, I bring up the business thing because we're not talking about people that are lazy. Laura worked 6 a.m. every day with cancer, with treatment, waking up at 6 a.m. plus or 5 a.m., getting it to work every single day, battling through this. Um, Working that hard while sick is just an incredible amount of strength. Rich, I know you and me have worked. I've worked since I was 16, and you've worked since you were 13 years old.
Yeah.
And you've owned your own business. You're a hard worker, and there doesn't seem to be much support out there, for people like you that necessarily don't have a large support network. And what is that that we can do better, or you think that you want to talk about necessarily about this?
Um, well, I'm on 11 months now with no income and still have not gotten my disability. I have, and I understand that they have to have a screening process. A lot of people are just, like you said, lazy and just trying to sit back and collect money. But when you have medical proof of a condition that myself or Laura has, you shouldn't have to be waiting 11 months to get your disability that you've paid into for over 40 years. I
Yeah.
mean, it's mind blowing. And that caused me a lot of stress and a lot of the depression I was having because I'm fighting and fighting. I lost everything because I have no finances anymore. Everything that I've had in the bank is used up. I'm behind on all my bills. I've lost my truck, my business, and I'm still got no disability.
Right. And we've talked about
Coming up
this.
on close to a year now.
We've talked about this offline, and we're going to put up a GoFundMe page for Rich, specifically for support for an attorney, to get the the money that is supposed to be coming out for him, you know, for disability, to not to go out and buy toys for Christmas or anything like that,
Right.
but just to fight to survive. Like, I can't say that any more simple than that, man.
I
So
mean,
we're
I'm
gonna put up a
riding a
GoFundMe.
bicycle to go grocery shopping
Right, right,
because I lost my vehicle because I couldn't afford my payments.
right. No, and it's a struggle, and I think that's well pointed out by this conversation, and I don't think people would expect that. Laura, you know, I know you had your business. You struggle to get to work every day. What was it like for you, trying to run a business full time? You know, to continue to fight cancer, to keep up with the dogs, which we loved. Thank God we didn't have Ralphie at that point. The Doberman is a little crazy, but you know, still, it's a lot of work to do this.
It was just exhausting mentally, emotionally, and I just, for me at this, even though it was emotionally and physically draining, it also helped me get through it because I felt like I have to prove to myself, and that's not necessarily a positive thing, but I wanted to prove to myself that I could continue to do it. And by doing that, I made it much harder on myself because I wouldn't allow myself to rest, even though I needed to rest and I needed to
Right.
let myself just be sick and relax. I just said, I'm not going to let this beat me. And I think it probably actually in some ways helped me emotionally, but hindered me physically.
Rich, you're smiling and shaking your head. What's up with that?
Well, because I agree with something that you just said. I'm not going to let this beat me. Um, and that's a great positive attitude to have when you're going through this. Unfortunately, in my situation, it took me a good 7 months to get to that point to where I was able to be positive and lift myself out of the depression of the whole thing. And that's a key. I think that's a key thing that Laura said is being positive and this is not going to beat me. Once you get to that point, I think you're on the up road to the recovery from it.
Okay.
I will say that when I actually had to sell my business, and then when I got a different job in a different field for a very, very large corporation, they have not been supportive at all. So, and it's it's a hospital organization. So it really just, it shows you that it really doesn't matter if you're self-employed, if you work for a family company, we're the biggest employer in Arizona, and they have provided no support
Wow.
whatsoever.
I didn't want to go to the political thing, but you know, I
We know
just
you
feel
have to.
we know we have to, but listen, it's not in bad taste. It's not to pointing fingers at anybody specifically, but I just think we can do a better job at supporting people. I know me and you, Rich, have talked about the disability thing. Listen, man, we're in our 50s, and retirement is right around the corner. There's retirement, there's SSI, there's all these funds that we've paid into for years, right? Social Security. Um, let's put this in a way that maybe is a little bit sad, but there's a chance, although marginal, you may not do as well with this as you might think. Why not take the money for retirement and put that into supporting you right now to ensure that you make it to the other side of this? I mean, I don't understand why there aren't more creative solutions for this issue. And again, this goes to what we're talking about right now is let's get the information out there, because I don't think anybody, when they think of cancer, would think they're on an island all by themselves. And there's no assistance government wise that the people you work for, whether a health organization or not, really essentially, I'm sorry, don't really give a shit, because it's all about money and moving the company along. That's not the way this is supposed to work to me. So I guess, you know, I'm outraged by this, but at the same time, I'm grateful that we have an opportunity to put this show out there to let people know, hey, this is what it looks like, man. This is what happens. So I mean, I don't know what else to say to that, other than let's get the information out there. I'd like to sort of move on to one other thing, or a couple other things actually, which is the side effects of cancer. Rich, you mentioned depression, and Laura, you mentioned depression as well. One of the big things about depression is it's a lonely place.
Yes.
I think all of us would agree that, and people out there who've dealt with depression, is a very lonely place. And I think that, two things. One, the loneliness of depression. Is it one of those things when you have cancer, you feel like there's nobody on your side, even though people are all around you? Laura, you want to tackle that?
Sure. So I don't deal necessarily with depression, but if I do get depressed, it really manifests itself in anxiety, which is very like the exact polar opposite of what you need to try to rest and take care of yourself, because it just makes your mind never stop. It makes your body never stop, and you're never able to truly get the rest that you need to start healing. And it was very detrimental. Even this last go around with cancer, just in the last few months, it's very detrimental to the physical healing.
Laura, for the audience, how many times have you been through this cancer actually in different forms?
It's my fourth time.
And
Wow.
are they all the same, or are they different types of cancer?
Two of them were the same, and two were different. And they were all primary cancer, kind of like my mom. She's had 6 different kind of primary cancers. So it's overwhelming just when you kind of think, okay, well, that's done with. And all of mine have been in my basically reproductive area for the most part. So all abdominal and gynecological. And
Mhm.
every time you feel anything or feel anything different, you're like, oh no, it's back. Oh God. And it's scary, just the level of anxiety that I carry all the time.
You basically answered my question that I was going to ask you. If 4 times going through this, originally my question was going to be, was it easier for you to deal with, let's say, the 3rd time as opposed to the 1st time, or is the impact of the information you're receiving just as hard every time?
I would say it's a combination of both. It's, oh crap, I have to deal with this again. But there's also the part of you that says, well, I made it through the last time and I'm
Right.
still
Okay.
here. So it gives you, just a little bit of a positivity to think I can make it
Yes,
through it
that's what
again.
I was thinking. Okay.
Yeah.
That was what I was
Yeah.
searching for right there. Okay. Yeah, I couldn't imagine going through what you went through 4 times. I mean, I know what I'm going through just 1 time. I can't imagine 4 times. I give you praise.
Thank you.
There's something to be said about the times you go through, but also the side effects. We just sort of touched on depression. Not to move on from you guys supporting each other, because I love that, because that's what it's really all about. And I can't say enough about it. Like, for survivors, there are 16 million survivors in this country. It will take all of those people to support other people with cancer, and do these things to let them know they're not alone, to battle the depression, to stand by people with cancer. And you guys out there in the audience, please, you need to learn more too, because the reality is, probably 1 in 4 out there are going to deal with either themselves having cancer or somebody very close to them. But there are side effects of cancer other than depression. Laura, I
Yes.
know that you had recently a couple instances of heart issues, and maybe you can tell the audience a little bit more about that.
Well, I was diagnosed with a heart issue. What has it probably been about 10 years? But I don't know for sure that it was related to the chemo, but it's definitely seemed to coincide with it quite a bit. My issues that I get chest pains. I have basically cardiomyopathy, but one most recent one I had when I was driving, and I got very sharp chest pains and had severe pain down my left arm, and my head got really hot and really heavy. I was driving. It was definitely very scary, because I thought I was going to crash, because I was literally in the middle of a turn when it happened. And it actually happened again yesterday. So I don't know, like I said, I don't know for sure, but like Rich was saying, the chemo does so much damage to every part of your body that it just feels like I've had all of these things that I may not be able to directly correlate, but they've definitely come in stride with the treatment.
Yeah, and the old adage of correlation is not causation, realistically is there, but it is one of the things in research that has been known to be, correlate it does correlate to cancer. Many people who have who have gone through chemotherapy have wound up with with heart issues after the fact. Rich, what other symptoms were maybe surprising you, moving forward, that you're like, whoa, wait a minute, I didn't expect this.
I didn't realize how sick you got from the chemo. I mean, the fatigue, there was days I laid in bed for 3-4 days straight, did not eat. I couldn't eat. Just to get up and try to walk across my house, I literally had to scale the walls because I couldn't even support the weight of my body, and I had already lost 50 pounds. That was the main thing, with the fatigue and the weakness and just the sick feeling of wanting to eat, but knowing that I couldn't.
Yeah.
And then of course the depression, as we talked about, and it's almost becomes an endless circle.
Yeah. I'm going to play
to get out of it is hard.
Yeah.
Very
well,
hard.
The circle of depression is one leads to the other, and anxiety leads to more anxiety. You're not able to relax, you're not able to sleep, and you're not able to recover.
Mm-hmm.
I know from what Laura said that's
Right.
pretty accurate. So
Rest
it's
is
hard to get
so
out of that
important.
loop.
That rest is so important.
Yeah. And I think again, there are different alternative therapies. There's there are different ways of dealing with that anxiety, with the rest. Oh, look, we've got we've got a visitor, and that is Ralphie, our Doberman. He wants to be in the show. We've got a bomber. Anyway, add a little levity to the show. Perfect. So listen, we're running a little bit short on time, but I wanted to sort of touch base with this, and I'm going to, during the closing next section, I'm going to show a video of Rich on, because this has been 3 separate recordings, in which Rich experienced something called chemo brain, and you'll be able to see it firsthand because it happened while we were recording, very organically and just out of nowhere. Both of you have experienced this, and maybe for the audience, we could close with this and let people know, what chemo brain is and how it affects people. Again, as we've talked about, cancer, chemotherapy is fighting a monster with a bigger monster, but you also destroy a lot of the good things in your body. So, Laura, what was your experience with chemo brain, or maybe recently experienced this issue?
Just forgetting where you are, why you're there, having a really hard time focusing, like just watching TV, but not processing any of the information. You're just kind of staring, and then realizing you've been looking at it for a half hour and you have no idea what you've watched.
No idea. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rich, you're laughing. You've had this
experience.
Yeah,
because I know that firsthand experience numerous times. Sitting there watching something, a half hour goes by, and I'm like, "What the fuck did I just watch? I have no clue what I just watched." Right. But yeah, the memory thing, the concentration and focus is all out the window. And as you were saying, the clip that you have of me, people can see firsthand really how that works. I mean, my memory is horrible.
Yeah, we're going to play that clip on the next section, and I'm going to show that to the audience because it really is a strange moment in which you just lose all time, and just we're sitting there talking, and you just stop, and you snap out of it, and you're like, wait, hold on. It takes a couple seconds to sort of rebound, but listen, I appreciate you guys being on. I sort of want to reiterate this point. There are 16 million survivors of cancer in the United States. Worldwide, there's obviously many more. The internet, social media platforms, as much as they're used for the negative comments that are out there, are a tool that we can get information out there. We can do better with this. Programs like this, GoFundMe pages, people supporting each other. It doesn't have to be, government support. It doesn't have to be changing policies. We can help each other. Here at Cause for Concern, the idea is a cause for concern. And if you're not concerned about cancer, wake up. You should be, because it can happen to you. It can happen to family members. And as we're sitting here talking, this spans 5 decades of my life with people that are affected, and many more in the circle, like Laura said with her mom. Cancer impacts so many people, and we have so many opportunities to get the information out there and to assist people. Take advantage of it. So as I said, I'm going to post up, a GoFundMe page for Rich for specifically use for getting an attorney to fight for the disability to keep him fighting this disease and moving forward. Again, I think Rich would tell you he doesn't want to do this. As we said, we've worked since we were kids. There's no laziness in anybody in this group here. But I think anything we could do to help people is important, man. And I just want to just shut up for a second and let you guys close this out with some statements. Laura, what would you like to say to the audience out there that maybe we haven't said yet?
I would just say that's really important, no matter whether it's cancer or anything else. Everybody's fighting a battle that you know nothing about, and you just have to keep that in mind when interacting with people, and also, just making sure you support those around you. That's the only way I really got through this, was actually Garrett just kind of carried me through this most of the time, and I think the support system is probably the most important part of being able to get through this.
Rich, what do you think? What's your closing message?
Everything that Laura just said, yes. And also, please go get checked, go get colonoscopies. I mean, I put it off and put it off and put it off, and I waited too long. Had I caught this sooner, it probably would have been a whole different outcome. But again, it wasn't going to happen to me. Please just, if you learn anything from watching this, please just go get checked out. If there's any doubts in your mind or whatever, even just for a routine checkup, just get checked out.
And if I could add something to that, I agree 100% with that, but you also have to advocate, because I went to the doctor. I went to numerous doctors, and they were telling me that, nope, it's just, you're getting to the age, maybe you're perimenopausal, you're this or that. And I finally got pushed and advocated for myself and and then I was diagnosed. And if you don't do that, you're the only one who can advocate for yourself and care about yourself as much as, otherwise you're a patient. So yes, go to the doctor, but also if something feels wrong and something they're telling you doesn't feel right, speak up.
Definitely.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Laura, because I think that me and you have talked about this as well, with massive amounts of anger in the medical system and how they treat people. And again, this is not everybody. There are great medical professionals out there, but in my experience watching both of you, specifically with Laura with the medical field, and Rich with maybe the legal field trying to get disability, there is nobody out there that can advocate for you better than yourself. And understand that going into this, my final message is to wrap up what both of you just said and to support your statements from my watching you guys. Nobody's going to support you guys better than you. And if you feel like that you're not getting the proper treatment, step up and let them know. Move on. If you're not getting your disability, get a goddamn attorney. Because I'll tell you right now from Rich's conversation, and we'll talk a little more on the flip side of this, the attitude changes when there's an attorney involved. Quickly. Sure. And then when you fire your attorney, Rich, what happens? They turn around and say, we're taking your money back, and you can wait a little while longer.
Yes.
And the medical field for Laura, I've watched as these people said, well, maybe this, maybe that, with no professional backing whatsoever, with no information. Just, what we feel like this, and fighting that battle, is just, it must be just exhausting to talk to these doctors, Laura. And I think that if I could just wrap up that message for you, like, I've watched this and I've been frustrated with you listening to these people just try to push their own personal feelings on what you're telling them, going, I don't feel right, something's wrong, help. And they don't help.
Yeah, that's 100% true. When I went to the doctor when I first started having heart issues, they told me for over a year, it's their anxiety. It has nothing to, you don't have a heart issue. Everything's fine. And then, I finally found a cardiologist who did the tests that needed to be done and diagnosed me with a heart condition. But it took a year and probably 3 or 4 different doctors to not think it was anxiety.
Yeah.
In that time, I had damage done to my heart. There was long-term damage because nobody took me seriously.
Right. And that's it. I don't think it can be said any better. Thank you guys so much, both of you.
Thank you.
For the viewers out there, thank you so much for tuning into this. And sort of in your small way listening to this, but get out there, talk to people. And again, GoFundMe pages, things like that to support people with cancer. And as Laura said, the most important thing, everybody's dealing with something, man. Everybody's got an issue, from PTSD to cancer to anxiety, to depression. This is coming from me, and I don't do the best at it every time, but you got to try better, try harder to support people, and just to understand you may be uncomfortable with the situation, but just try to support people the best you can, because you never know what they're going through. Thanks, guys. We'll see you on the flip. And hey, both of you, Happy New Year. I know this started out in Christmas about a week ago where we started recording this, and it's already New Year's, and I wish you both health, happiness. We always say that year in and year out, right? Health and happiness. But for you two, it's super important that you are healthy and happy. And, so yeah, Happy New Year, guys, and Happy New Year's to the audience out there, and support each other. Cause for concern. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. See ya. No.
I think we just lost Laura, but go ahead, Rich. What do you think?
No, I agree with what you're saying. It's not like that at all, because, and I want to go back to a bit how Laura was saying that it doesn't affect just you as the individual, it affects everybody around you. I'm sorry, I'm just chemo brain fog. It's hard for me to focus and concentrate. I just lost my train of thought.
I'm sorry. What do you mean, for the audience? What do you mean chemo brain fog? What?
Your memory is horrible. You can't focus. You forget a lot of things. You lose track of, like, just now in the middle of a conversation, I completely lost track of what I was saying and the point I was heading towards. It's really nothing you could do about it. It just happened. It's from the chemotherapy.
So you're just saying, like, in the middle of the conversation we were just having right now, you just like lost space and time, and you're just like, oh my God, where am I at? Okay, and just continue on. And I know I've heard from Laura, she's experienced the same thing in chemo brain. Again, one of those things that I don't think people think or understand, that there's an effect.
Right. Never heard about it before until I had it.
And Laura, I don't know. I know you were just off the air for a little bit, but we were just in the middle of a conversation, and Rich said I lost. He just was a little confused and said he had chemo brain. And we were trying to explain to the audience that that's part of the chemotherapy and part of the impact of treatment.
I'm not.
So I wanted to start off with that clip. It was from our first recording on Christmas Eve, and in the middle of conversation, my friend lost complete sense of time and space, didn't remember where he was. And this is referred to as chemo brain, as the clip says. But what it really shows is there's so much we don't think about when we think about cancer, and we think about people's ability to function, whether it be from the depression, whether it be from the treatment, whether it be from just the daily toll of not sleeping and worrying about dying, as Rich said, and Laura has said many times. Cancer is a lot more than just what we see on the surface. It affects every part of your life. I know Laura said that during this interview. It affects everything. It is everything. And for these folks out there who are trying to survive, to have to go through the financial difficulties, to have to go through the struggle with their physicians, just to get them to go, hey, listen to what I'm telling you. It shouldn't happen this way. And for those people out there who are watching this program, understand the reason we're doing this is so people understand, so people look past the obvious. Yes, you're going to get sick. Yes, it's inevitable that it's going to hurt, it's going to be painful. But the other part of this is how survivors have gotten past these sticking points and how we can pass this information along, how we can give back to the community of people struggling with cancer. Because if a viewer out there understands, yes, I need to get an attorney. Yes, I need people around me to understand that I might not remember things. It could make it a little bit easier. You know, we did this recording, we started, it's been 2 weeks. And even myself having to listen, you know, as an onlooker, it reminds me of how difficult these times are for these people. And as Laura said so aptly, everybody's going through something. You know, maybe in some way this is not just about cancer. It's about the way we treat people. It's about acceptance. It's about concern and compassion. It's about our ability to put ourselves aside for 1 second, for 2 minutes, for an entire day, for an entire week, and say, "Hey, I got you." It's not easy. Coming from me, man, I've failed more times than I've succeeded. But it's a battle worth having. It's a challenge in this new year to say I'm going to be better, to support people. I'm going to try. And even if you fail 50% of the time, it's 50% more than you would have done. So, you know, I played that clip not to pull at the heartstrings, but to just illustrate that there's more out there that we need to understand about cancer and cancer survivors. The other part about this as cause concerns dot or sorry, cause concerns at Gmail. Please email. Please hit like and subscribe down in the box down there, so we can you know, have comments going back and forth. What we can do better. You know, whether you like this program or not, whether you want to hear more politics, whether you want to hear more of the political side, maybe drive this conversation, you know, a little bit upward to basically do something for cancer survivors. But right now, what we can do is support um, Rich in his fight to get an attorney. There will be a GoFundMe page. I will have that information down here as well, in which we can support financially. If it's $10, if it's $5, it adds up. Attorneys are expensive, and we can get that attorney out there to basically help Rich get this disability claim through, and stop worrying about the financial side of this. You know, get the attorney there to get the funding just for basic food and necessities. I sometimes go to work and I overlook the fact that I have a job. Rich can't work right now. And sometimes I'll talk to him on the drive into work, and he'll let me know I don't have any toilet paper. It's a basic fucking necessity, man. I don't have any food. I'm struggling with trying to get my health benefits. They're going to cancel my health benefits. All the things that me and you out there may take for granted. Man, this is a struggle. And if it's one thing I believe, we have the internet. We have one of the greatest cultures in the world right now in information and technology and getting this out there. We can do better. And I know it sounds fucking like a greeting card. It sounds like a poster. It sounds like a bumper sticker, but we can. Just a simple couple dollars here and there, a comment on the bottom saying we're listening. We can do better. You know, you're talking to somebody who screams and shouts at the mic and talks about the democracy ending. But there's another side to this, man. We can use those same tools that we're shouting out there about democracy ending to try to help people survive right now, today. And I hope you guys will. Please hit like, subscribe, help this program keep going, because there's going to be more causes for concern out there. There's going to be more that we're going to be doing. But right now, what we need to do is try to help people with cancer, specifically Rich. Let's get that GoFundMe page moving. Let's get him an attorney. Let's get that attorney moving to get the disability. That way he can fight this thing without his hands tied behind his back. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it. Have a happy new year. I can't think of any way better to spend it than with you guys trying to help people. That's what it's all about. Thank you so much.